Longhorns out for the game. It's up. The Longhorns win it.
Stevie Lee, we have finally made it to the much anticipated week that we have been talking about since Texas. It was official that this program was entering the SEC, the rivalry that everyone in this great state looks forward to. I think quietly people from Texas Tech, SMU, TCU, Baylor, Houston, Rice, you go down the list, and even many across the country look forward to Texas A&M. Things have not been right around this great state around Thanksgiving since that what we just saw 2011.
Was that 2011?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, man. I'm so glad that it's back. I got so many memories in that game. We can talk about it later, man, but it's going to be so much fun. I'm looking forward to it.
And, you know, I am too. And we got a guy, both our guest, our VIP guest times two. I really love this guy's perspective. Not only is he a friend, but he has so much great insight and opinions on this, just like you, Stevie Lee. And both of you are positive people. That's even the better part about it. We're going to talk about the Lone Star Showdown finally returning. We're going to build up to it, but beginning with what just happened at DKR, what just happened in Norman, and what happened in Auburn, Alabama. It's what makes college football so beautiful. Stevie, you ready to get this excitement going? Because, man, we've been waiting a long time to get to this game.
Let's do it.
Hey, let's ride. Stevie, you saw it. That's Colin Simmons, the amazing freshman. He can do everything. He can rush the passer, put QBs in the dirt or fake grass, whatever we're talking about here. And he knows how to – I guess he's an aspiring photographer. Took a professional photographer's camera after Andrew Makuba's celebration of the INT. I want to see the photo evidence of what Colin Simmons took while he was on the sideline.
That's funny, man. I've never seen that happen. I'm glad they didn't flag him for using a prop.
Well, they had reason to celebrate as they took care of business against Kentucky. It was a little crazy. We'll dive into that. I am Sean Clinch, the host of Stories Inside the Man Cave. That's Stevie Lee, former Texas defensive tackle, played for the great Mac Brown. And you know, we missed it in the tease portion, but this would not be possible, this series of the episodes of Stories Inside the Man Cave, without the wonderful people from Shreveport, now in Austin and Shreveport, Hargrove Roofing. Stevie, you're the face of it, and you recite that marketing slogan better than any human on earth.
Yeah, my guys, shout out to my guys over at Hargrove. I'm here in Shreveport on location at my parents' house for Thanksgiving. I'm going to hang out with some of the Hargrove guys, man. So this week we're going to probably go out and play golf. But Hargrove Roofing, know who's on your roof. Those are my guys, y'all.
Hey, and they have done great work. They did a great job on my late mom's roof, and the current owners actually commented on it about 6 months ago. And then Hargrove Roofing did such a great job with the insurance and did it in less than 3 weeks from start to finish. That's Hargrove Roofing at its finest. Hey, be sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms, including the Facebook page. You may be watching it from here or on the YouTube page. And we really appreciate all of you taking the time, share, like, follow, and, you know, share that content. That's what helps it grow. And let us know what you think, how we can improve, or what you want to talk about. So what we're going to begin to talk about before we bring in somebody who's near and dear to us and we love talking to, He's quite the character as well, former Longhorn. But Texas beating 31-14, improving to 10-1, and they lead the SEC with one regular season to go. First off, Stevie, what was your quick synopsis to wrap it up? What your eyes witnessed from your parents' home in Shreveport?
It was a fun game. We're 10-1 right now. It's hard to get some wins this late in the season. So, I thought that we left some points on the board in the first half, but that's just me being critical. I mean, 31-14 is a good win, but it could have been 61-62 easily. And it could have been, 7 or 0. So I'm glad that we have some things to work on in practice because we got a big week this week.
Yeah, big week. I will have to point out this. When Kentucky shifted to their freshman quarterback, they started rolling. That freshman's going to have a great future. He may be the second coming of Tim Couch, but that's behind us. Texas fans don't have to worry about Kentucky anymore, and it was a great day at DKR. Beautiful November day that felt like early September, but I have no complaints about it. But Texas finishing the game, 15 consecutive rushes. Trey Wisner, 158 yards rushing, and Matthew Golden, the transfer portal receiver who's done a great job. This was Matthew talking about what Wisner means to this team.
Source said Trey is as tough as a Brillo pad. That was his quote. Yes. Give me an example of Trey's toughness. Who is Trey?
Man, Trey a dog. I mean, I think that's that Dallas in him, man. He a real dog, He come in and work each and every week. So, I mean, we appreciate having a back like that, man.
Everybody says the running game, not everybody. Some people criticize Texas saying the running game they don't have strong enough running game, which may be one of the factors which keeps them from winning a national championship. Are you buying or selling that?
No, our running game is strong enough when we need it. In fact, supposedly Kentucky had one of the biggest and best defensive line, and we ran straight through them like water. So I think that when we need them to close out a game, to get short yardage and things like that, our offensive line put their head down and dig them out. So it's I don't have a problem with our running game at all.
I don't either. It's how you perform. It's just everyone's talking about criticizing something. But one thing that I found amusing in that, and it's not a slight on anybody from Dallas. There are some tough kids, tough Dallas kids. But I think our guest, he may say something a little bit different because I'm pretty sure those kids who are tied to H-Town would differ with those from Dallas. This is our guy, Lance Gunn, one of the best to wear number 16 at Texas, one of the greatest DBs, great career, great human, and he's also Stories Inside the Man Cave VIP alumni ×2. Lance, man, I appreciate you taking time to hang with Stevie and I.
Absolutely. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Appreciate you having me on. Hook 'em horns.
Oh, yeah, it's a great day. Before we get going, Lance, I got to show this. To show the younger people who really may follow the program but really not sure who you are, check out this pic that we have. This is after you were drafted, and you're still built that way, and I'm quite jealous. I want that Greek physique, that metabolism that you have.
Stevie, what you think about all them pads on the forearm?
Hey man, that was back in the day where you can throw a couple shots with the forearm, man. So
exactly.
You can't do that.
They don't let you do that anymore, Stevie.
They won't let you do it, man. When I had some of those too when I played D-line, but I love to see a DB with it on, man. Come on, and those are defensive tackle shoulder pads too, bro.
I went to the defensive line pile to get those for sure. That was shiver, right?
And I'm looking closely, man. I had that same face mask, man. We had a DB bank back there playing defensive line, man. Come on.
We were trying to hit people.
There you go. Isn't that what the game is made for?
We was trying to hit people back in the day.
Yeah, man. I was mentoring some kids, man. I said this is the only game you can go and inflict physical harm to someone and not get arrested. Let's do it.
An organized street fight, right?
Organized street fight. That's exactly what it is. Between the whistles, man. You good between the whistles. Anything goes.
Absolutely.
Lance,
Well, you guys hit on this. This deal is going to be fun this weekend, right?
100%.
Since 2011. Wow, right?
It's unreal.
How many Aggies are going to be in the building? They got to be 150,000 Aggies in the building, right?
This is going to be so much fun. Lance, you're quick too. Matthew Golden, what he said, he's talking about he's got that toughness of those Dallas kids. Now, Houston, come on. There's a rivalry.
Hey, we got a few dogs out of Houston as well. I got to give love to my guys from Dallas, right? But we got a few guys in Houston that can play as well.
There's no doubt. The one topic that has bothered me, not personally, but it keeps coming up, the strength of schedule, but is hurting Texas. But when you can't control who's on the schedule, but come on, guys, when you have the Michigan, you've got Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas A&M. Who am I missing here? That has been on this Florida. I just think the whole debate is a little silly because when you look at it, the whole body of work when the seasons have done. I mean, former Texas linebacker Drew Kelson said it best. I loved it. The audacity to say we haven't beat anybody while everyone else keeps losing to the bottom feeders. Y'all have an awesome night. Lance, what's your take on that?
Well, like we were saying off there, it's like, we ain't played nobody, but y'all keep losing to nobody, right? I don't get it. Every week I turn around, y'all keep losing to the same teams that we beat, right? So we didn't set the schedule, right? Just you play who you play, And then for years,
and it's good,
especially since when A&M, and Steve, you appreciate this, we've been hearing for 12 years that there are no weak schedules in the SEC. Now, all of a sudden, there's weak schedules. For 12 years, it was the SEC this and SEC that, and every week. And now, all of a sudden, I guess you can have a weak schedule in the SEC. Who knew?
Damn. So we're going to break this down. And before we lead up to the game that we cannot wait to talk about. And so to Lance's point, and Drew Kelson, and what Stevie and I have been talking about so much, the partner who went to the SEC with Texas did something that they haven't done since September.
Tackles for loss, a big part of this defensive success all season long. It's another pick in the flat. Kip Lewis. Milroe can't get him. Pick six. Oklahoma building the lead.
Well, Coach, you told us that your team had a lot of resilience and pride. How did it show up tonight?
Oh, they were absolutely amazing. I told them winning never negotiates. We finally did the things that winning requires. And what all three phases, how well they complemented each other. These guys, man, they're amazing. Their guts and their toughness. And they punch first, they punch back. And tonight, we finally punched last.
Stevie, OU has finally found, I guess, more of an identity offensively. That's what's been holding them back. We'll go Stevie first and Lance second. OU proved that, puts Bama in a tough spot now because they've got 3 losses.
Yeah, we're going to run through this segment really quickly because I don't like talking any good things about OU. So, yeah, they found something. I think they found something on defense is what they found, and their defense turned into some offense because they had that pick 6 right there, that we just saw. So their offense only scored, 2 touchdowns. So I think is what they found is what on defense, holding Milroe to only 3 points.
And he had 3 interceptions.
And 3 interceptions. I think the defense won them that game. The defense punched first, the defense punched back, and the defense punched last. That's what happened.
Lance, we were talking about before this pod that, we're hoping it works out for Brent Venables, but finally, because it's either win at home against Alabama or go to Baton Rouge the last game to become bowl eligible. Now they're bowl eligible.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And Steve, we were talking. I'm like you. I don't think much of OU one way or another. And I wasn't at first. I didn't realize we needed to be rooting for OU. I was thinking, all right, we need the Sooners to lose, and then I kind of started doing the math, and I was like, all right, hold on, we probably need the Sooners to win. But to your point, right? Defense played well, right? They've talked about their defense all year, and it definitely showed up last night in a big, big way, right? And he can tell that was a big load off of BV's, but you could tell in the interview that one was big, right? You can't lose 4 or 5 in a row at Oklahoma without having a lot of folks wondering if you're the guy. And so that probably gave him a little bit of breathing room and certainly makes that trip to Baton Rouge go a little smoother for sure.
Yeah, easily. And now the one thing that I hated saying this too, as a Longhorn fan, everyone was somewhat pulling for A&M to make that game what the highest potential game that it could be. I mean, it's still going to be a zoo, but when Auburn is in the same position, they needed wins to become bowl eligible, and it took 4 overtimes to do this.
Side left, Bourne looking middle, and what a catch! Back, Reed rolls right, dropped! It was dropped! Auburn wins!
Yeah, I mean, this one's certainly going to hurt, and we're obviously extremely disappointed because, we had ourselves in a really good position, and this is back-to-back road games where we haven't been able to get it done, and so that part of it's not going to go away. But obviously, with who we play and what we're still playing for, obviously there's still going to be a lot of energy going into that stadium next weekend.
So we were living rent-free in this dude's head.
Yeah.
Free.
Yeah. I mean, he said at the beginning of the week, all our focus is on Texas. I mean, Auburn.
Yeah.
Clearly, they were – I don't want to say they were looking ahead, Lance, but, I want to say this. This is what I talked to somebody at DKR yesterday about this, that I think the most dangerous teams this time of year in November are the ones trying to become bowl eligible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, do you agree with that, or is it just when you're on top and you are everyone's target and you're on a mission to win a championship, how does that happen? I mean, on the road's already tough enough.
Well, you look at Auburn, they had they were 4-6 going into last night, right? Yeah. But they had played a lot of really good games, right? Yeah. They had been in a lot of games. Was that didn't Oklahoma beat them on like a last second pick or something like that? There were a lot of games that they could have won that they didn't. And obviously they tried to give it away last night, but they made enough plays. 21-0 before you knew, but they made enough plays at the end, right? For sure. And so that's another, I think you're right about as far as bowl eligible. That's another coach who's on the hot seat, right? I mean, Auburn, they don't like to lose around there, and they know they got Alabama coming up. So I certainly think the coach got everyone's attention in that deal, right? 100%. And this is a conference now that is full of really, really good coaches. Like, you can't coach in this conference if you're not good. Yeah. And so there's a lot of pressure on a lot of guys, and I think Freeze was feeling it, right? And he got his guys ready to play.
He did, and you guys may have remembered one of the DBs for Texas who entered the portal in this past offseason, Jaron Thompson. I had totally forgotten that he's playing for Auburn, and he led the Tigers with tackles, I believe 11 for Auburn. And somebody asked him about beating A&M, and that was a potential spot for him to land from Texas. And this was Jaron Thompson's response to that reporter who asked him about it.
Left, Bourne.
Sorry.
All I got to say, they should have offered me.
It's plain and simple. But I don't know how a Longhorn or vice versa goes to the other. But I think it's different nowadays. I don't think it's the same as it used to be.
I think it's different because they never played them. They never felt the rivalry. I would never even think about going to A&M if I was in the transfer because we felt that rivalry. So, yeah.
Well, before we're about to amp it up, but Lance, we do this thing called the power rankings. Everybody's poll rankings, they're all real similar. Stevie and I have got into some fun debates, but if you're watching this for the first time, you see our power rankings from the week before then it dissolves to the current one. So here we go. Post week 13, a lot of movement, if you will. So we're having flashbacks of the early 80s with SMU in the top 10. You saw Indiana take their first L against Ohio State. So there goes, their first, if we're going to go strength of schedule and talk about all that. You guys have any criticism or maybe some quality input on this?
Yeah, I think that you're good. And I know Ohio State has that head-to-head against
Oregon.
So
Oregon beat Ohio State, yeah.
Oregon has a head-to-head against Ohio State, but I think that Ohio State is a different team right now, man.
Yeah,
that was early in the season. But I understand you can't rank them because there is a head-to-head there. But if we take out the head-to-head rule that we have, I'm looking at Ohio State at the top. And Texas at number 3. Number 2.
Okay.
I don't see Oregon being that good now. I just don't see it.
That's fair, Lance. If you look at this, I mean, this is the 12. Of course, the 5 highest ranked conference champions receive the CFP bid. The 4 of the top 4 conference champions receive first round bye. To me, it's very confusing to an extent. When you look at it, does Indiana get in right now? And look where Alabama is. I would have never suspected this.
Well, this looks like because I did the same thing. We were just talking with some friends last night. I think I'm there with you guys, just in no particular order. I did not have Clemson in my top 12. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I think it looks about like you think, right? Obviously, I'd had looking at it differently. I've got Arizona State. I believe it's either them or Colorado. I think it's going to win the Big 12. Mm-hmm. But I don't think one team's getting in. What yesterday did, I think, again, maybe it's just me wishful thinking. I think yesterday pretty much assured that Texas is going to get in, right? Yeah. I think that was what yesterday did more than anything else. I think the SEC gets 4 teams. I think the Big Ten gets 3 or 4, and then it just kind of filters down from there. So, but I think what you guys have here is really, really close.
It's going to be interesting, but all this will play out as we get through at the conference championship games. But man, we've talked 23 minutes, and I think it's time. I think it's time we move on to what we've been looking forward to, gentlemen. Let's go.
10 wins is hard to do in this conference for sure, and for us to be able to be in this position where, like you said, we kind of control our own destiny is a good feeling, rather it being in somebody else's.
This is going to be one of them games that we're going to have to come and show up and show out every chance we get, and we can't let down, and it means a lot to everybody, not just in the city, but just Texas all around, man. This one of them games that really mean a lot.
It means a lot. I heard it's a big-time rivalry that used to be a really big thing, and now that we're going to be in the first one in the SEC coming back, I mean, it's definitely exciting to look forward to for sure.
But I'm not naive to know the rivalry is the rivalry and what this game means to the entire state of Texas, and households being divided, Thanksgiving weekend. I think it's so cool that we're playing this game again.
Guys, I'm not exaggerating, and I know you guys probably have these moments, but since the age of 4, this game means something to me and my sphere of people, all around us. And hearing those sound bites again for the first time in 13 years, I get chills. Lance, you and Stevie both played against Texas A&M. Lance, we'll begin with you. I mean, just like Oklahoma, it has been a streaky series.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I echo all those sentiments. Just really happy that the game's being played again. It means a lot to any of us that grew up playing high school football in this state. Certainly us that played in the old Southwest Conference, now the old Big 12 for sure, that we, to see this piece come back and it kind of taking center stage. And with a 12-team playoff, it has huge ramifications, right? So it's nice to be in that spotlight. It is a big-time game. It's the biggest game this weekend, as it rightfully should be, right? No doubt about it. So just really looking forward to it.
Stevie, College Station, both of you had an opportunity to play there. I will forever say it's the loudest stadium I've ever been in.
Man, you haven't been to Death Valley in Baton Rouge. But it is a crazy place to play. When you look up in the stands, I try not to look up in the stands because the whole stadium starts rocking back and forth. It's so much fun to play there because we handed 2 L's out to them over there. And but it's a weird place to play as well. It's weird, eerie. This is going to be a night game. We had a night game there, but you get up to try to I'm trying to be PC in here, but you just want to bury them, man. You want to bury them. And then, so the little disheartening part of that clip that we showed right before this segment was the kid in the locker room said, I heard that it was a big rivalry. We got to find a way for these kids to feel that it is a big rivalry, not hearing about it. They need to know about this rivalry. There's history behind this rivalry. And I'm so glad it's back. I was trying to get guys together to lead the way to try to go to our Texas legislation and make them put this game back on the books. There are some states that still have that, on their books, that their rival schools have to play each other, and that game should have never gone away. Right. I'm glad it's back, but we should make a law that this game should never go away again. It's very, very important that. And I know I'm getting long at this, but when we finish eating our turkeys and hams and all that stuff, families can gather around the TV the next day and watch this game. And you might be in the family with some Longhorns, you might be in the family with some Aggies, and they're all together, and it's almost like nostalgia to me right now, man, to have this game back. It's people can get emotional about it. The rivalry week in Texas is huge. But I wish these kids knew exactly what they're playing in right now. And nothing else matters right now but this game and this game only right now.
Lance, one of your former teammates, Todd Hunt, it was your redshirt freshman year in 1989. It got so heated, and I don't know, and we'll get your. I would love to hear from you because I saw Todd. We all 3 of us are friends with him, and just a great guy. And he was a defensive tackle back then for the Horns. I asked him about a certain pregame incident that occurred in College Station at Kyle Field, and he was a little PC about it, which was absolutely hilarious in itself.
I was going through some footage from 1989. I do recall in that big midfield brawl in College Station, you kind of regulated some things. Is that accurate?
I wouldn't say I regulated, but we did have a good time, getting after it. I think one of the guys punched one of our guys, and next thing you know, man, it was on like Donkey Kong. Like a big melee. It was awesome. But that made the game so much more, impressive, and just like everybody's pissed off, yelling, screaming, cursing, calling your mama this, your mama that. But no, it was pretty awesome. So that was one of those games that, throughout the records, like you always do, throughout the records, and man, it was awesome. So I predict this. I predict if our defense comes to play, and we can get the right starts on offense, we're done, right? Anyone won't have a chance. But if their defense comes out to throw down, it's going to be a dogfight. because they got a good defensive line, and you can't deny them the talent they have. And so, but if we come to play on offense and we throw down a gun on defense, we're good.
Lastly, do you think this game will determine CFP spot?
Yes. We lose, we'll be in the top 12, but that'll be determined, you know, then the SEC games happen, championships happen. So we don't have a choice. We don't own destiny. We have to win straight out.
Lance, do you believe, well, first off, do you think if Texas were to lose this game, does it affect them and their CFP? And secondly, give your take on that pregame brawl.
So I think after yesterday with Indiana, Ole Miss, Alabama losing, I think it puts Texas in a really good spot to, if they do happen to lose this game this weekend, I think they still have a really good chance to get in that. I think all 2-loss SEC teams are in at this point in time, right? We're the only one that has 1 loss at this point in time as well. And that's to a really, really good Georgia team. So I may be wrong about that, but I just think that puts them in a really good spot. The brawl, so that was an Ed Cunningham special. So they came out to hump it at the middle of the 50-yard line, and Ed's like, we ain't letting them do that. Boom, boom, you know, this, that, and see, went out there. So, you know, at that point in time, if Ed was in, we all were in, right? So we went out there and just got after it, right? There's a clip that Slocum comes up behind me and grabs me, and I turn and I almost knock him out cold. Like, it's just so with that, right? They ended up winning that game for sure. He did the same thing that year when we played OU. It didn't get talked about as much. But he got into another brawl at OU, and we were all out there in the middle of the field, right? So that's why we call it. Those were Ed Cunningham specials for sure. He definitely set the tone with that team.
Stevie, had you heard about this before?
I didn't hear about the brawl, man, but I wouldn't put it past any of those guys back in the day. I talked to Lance and I talked to Todd Hunt, man. Y'all were y'all was a wild bunch. I'm just gonna say that. You know, the statute
PC in and of itself, right? That's classic PC.
Yeah. The statute of limitation, or what is it? Statute of
limitation. Yeah,
it's over, right? Y'all, we can't go back and prosecute you guys anymore. So, you know, we can kind of talk about it, but not talk about it. All right.
Well, I appreciate you protecting the guilty and the innocent there.
So, Lance, there were some memorable games including that one, which was a great game. But the following year, for historical purposes, the streakiness is revealed right now. So during the 90s or 80s, Jackie Sherrill, then R.C. Slocum, A&M went on a 6-game win streak. Absolutely. And in 1990, at Texas, it was a Shock the Nation tour, and it came down to one play. A&M had to go for 2 for the win, and you guys denied it.
3 yards away from what might be a win. It's 28-27 Texas. Lewis, no.
Lance, that was one of those days.
Yeah, that's Mark Berry. So again, give love to my Dallas guys, right? For sure, in that deal. And, yeah, that was so we had lost 6 in a row. No doubt about it, right? Had won in 83 and then 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89. It even hurts to say it, Stevie, right? Ooh. That's a lot. That's a lot of losses in a row to your right? So they had their way. So to put an end to it in that window was really, really special for that team for sure, right? No doubt about it. Right?
Lance, did y'all know what play was coming? Did y'all know that they were going to pitch it out, or?
No, there was a clip of them showing the game, and the reporters were on the sideline there. But we had no idea, right? We knew that we felt like they were probably going to give the ball to Darren Lewis. I mean, he was, he ran for freaking 2,800 yards or whatever it was, right? So he was easily their best player, right? So we felt like they were going to run the ball, and it was either Bucky was going to keep it, everybody's favorite Aggie, Bucky Richardson, and then or Darren Lewis was going right. It was going to get it. So it was one of those two. For sure, right? And they had run up and down the field on us that particular day. And, we got off to a pretty good start, but they were running just toss, sweep, lead, and just running it down our throat. I think Robert Wilson was the fullback, and we hadn't stopped them all day, right, in that window. So it was a big. We knew they were going to try to run over us again, and it was certainly a big stop for us. What we don't talk about either, too, is we drove the ball. Peter Gardere and our offense drove the ball back down the field and kneeled it inside their 5-yard line on the last 3 plays of that game. So, I mean, that could have been a lot where we tipped the hat, but we could have certainly scored another touchdown.
Wow.
That was it was a beautiful day too. Great day. Yeah, that's one of the few day games I remember that early on against A&M.
Yeah. That was the only of the 5 I played in. That was the only one that wasn't played on Thanksgiving Day. It was on a Saturday morning at like 11 o'clock.
That was and the stadium was wild.
Yeah, for sure. We had clinched the conference title in Waco the week before.
That took a lot of relief. I mean, the tension. So fast forward 8 years, and that was Mac's first season. We're getting closer to Stevie. I think 93, 94, A&M won. 95, Texas ended the home win streak at Kyle Field. Beat A&M soundly in the first Big 12 season. 97 lost. Then in 98, Texas started 1-2 and ended the season with the win over A&M and breaking the all-time rushing record Ricky Williams did.
11 yards shy of the record. Williams breaks a hole. Williams, hello record book. Ricky Williams runs to the Hall of Fame, cuts back. Ricky Williams, touchdown! 60 yards and the record is his. He does it in dramatic fashion.
So that was the A&M had a great defense. That win, everybody. About that time, both of you, Stevie, you're starting to be recruited. And Lance, you still had a pulse. You were in the NFL at the time, but did you kind of feel like the tide was shifting in that series?
So I was actually on the sideline of that game. Coach Bryant had given me tickets to that game, so I got a chance to actually get a sideline pass and be there and kind of be up close when the record was broken. A&M actually won the conference that year too, right? So for sure, right? And that was as exciting a game as I'd been to a DKR, right, to break the record on that run. And again, a little bit of a resurgence after a really tough 97 season, really kind of set the stage in Mack Brown's first year for what would be an outstanding career to, obviously, Steve, you got a chance for front row, and that were a big part of that piece, right? Just a phenomenal run by Coach Mack Brown and his staff, right? I'll let you guys jump in, but how many 12-team playoffs would Mack Brown have made, Stevie? 9,
my goodness.
10, 11?
That's a good one.
Yeah, right. So think about it. That's just how good you guys were for how long you guys were good. It was just a phenomenal run, and that really jump-started it there.
Yeah.
And the very next year was, it was bittersweet. It was terrible. The bonfire incident. Stevie, you were a freshman in 2000, correct?
2000, right.
2000. I heard stories of the Horns had received a bunch of phone calls in their room, their food poisoning to major, but the bonfire incident was a huge ordeal, and the whole state was mourning that. And Mack Brown being the classic guy, I mean, it affected him. It affected everybody. I mean, I think so many people, including myself, had a tie to someone who lost their life in that bonfire or knew of somebody. A&M stormed back and won it, and this was one of the memorable plays which sealed up the win for A&M.
They trail by 4. 30 seconds left. Applewhite is sacked. Ball's loose. This is the game. It is over. Aggies have got it.
In that last frame, Brian Gamble, who played for his dad in Alto, Texas, that was one of the most seen shots of him looking to the sky for the 12th man and the 12 who lost their lives in the Aggie bonfire. I think that's when things started to turn. But that I don't think, Stevie, what do you remember that being recruited? Because Mac was very classy about it.
He was, and still is actually classy about it. I think that's when I felt that this rivalry was bigger than any one person, any one school. Like it's collectively all together, right? Because it's a rivalry on the football field, and between the whistles, we don't like each other, and we're going to play football within the rules and try to beat each other, right? But there were kids in the state of Texas that lost their lives during this celebration, this tradition, and Coach Brown always recognized those kids from the other school. You know what I mean? He always took time to recognize the families, the kids, allowing the moment of silence for these kids, allowing us to never forget that they have gone through that. You know, we talked about it every year during that game. You know, and he's been really, really classy in that way. And like I said, he still is. Like one of these days, he on the anniversary, he may send out a tweet just about it. He does it every year, man. Because it affected him, it affected us. We wanted to win that game that year. I was in high school, and my friend Cole was here already, right. And so you know, I kind of paid attention to the game, but it's it makes the rivalry even that much more important. And so we wanted to win the game, but it was like, okay, you guys got it this year. That's good. You guys got it. So, and then the next year I came to campus, and then the rest is history.
And tell us what your record was against A&M again.
I wish I was at home because Coach Brown gave us a ball our senior year. He gave us a game ball our senior year, and is on the plastered on the side is it says 4 in a row, and it has every year. I was there 5 years. I took a medical red shirt, but so we won. We actually won 5 years in a row. But my ball says four in a row, and each year it has Texas A&M. It has the score on each side. And I wish I can show you guys, but it's real special, man. And I like that ball is sitting in my office back in Round Rock. So it means a whole lot to me, man. Like I said, this game it's not just a game to try to get into the SEC championship. We do want to do that. It's not just a game to just get into the FP college football playoffs. This is a game for pride in the state. This is a game for recognition in the state. Like, you can enshrine yourself. You do something big in this game, and people will remember it on either side.
I think that what stood out for me is this 25-year anniversary of that tragedy. It really hit home that, Stevie, those kids, and I say kids, they were our peers, right? A little bit older than you, a little bit younger than me, right? You can appreciate that too, right? So it's just like you realize, man, there's been a whole life we've all lived because we're all really close in age, all three of us, to the students that passed away, right? I was out of school at the time, but not a whole lot. I wasn't whole lot older than a lot of those kids. And again, you were a little closer in age to them, just a little bit, So it just really hit home that, man, there's a whole life all of us have lived the last 25 years that unfortunately those kids missed out on. So that's it's still, to your point, it hits you hard. And in 25 years, I had not realized that it passed or it had been that long.
Wow.
Yep.
And thoughts of Chris Breen, who I played football with at Anderson High School. He was in the Corps of Cadets. He came back as an alumni and to help build the stacks for that bonfire. And he was unfortunately one of the ones who lost their lives. And man, we're always thinking of the Breen family in Austin. At last check, I think they were still here. But that was something that all of us will never forget. We're going to take a quick break, give a shout out to our friends, family at Hargrove Roofing, and of course our guy forever, the Longhorn legacy, Westlake OG himself, Jim Saxton. We'll see you on the other side of this break.
Here at Hargrove Roofing, we try to think outside the box to kind of get the creative juices flowing. So I brought in my friend Stevie Lee, former defensive tackle for the Texas Longhorns. He's going to help the team strategize, really motivate them, light a fire.
This guy's going to block down. This guy's going to block down. You put your butt into the guard, and that way my Mike linebacker gets free to do what?
Not only are they going to learn a thing or two, but they're going to also leave with a great attitude and a bunch of smiles on their faces.
I'm sorry, what does this have to do with roofing exactly?
Get out.
Right now.
I said get out.
For me, that's what it's all about. It's just having fun, making our employees have a great time. Hargrove Roofing. Know who's on your roof.
The Saxton name resonates in Austin. Jim's late father, James Saxton, is a Longhorn legend, a Heisman finalist while playing for Darrell K. Royal. And Jimmy is a UT football legacy from Westlake. He has been insuring Austin for decades. He and his staff will give you old school hospitality when servicing your insurance needs.
Freaking weird.
I start with Lance and then Stevie. As a player, your first time you saw that and heard that, be honest, what were you thinking at Kyle Field when you first heard that the Aggie wore him?
Well, the town, what Stevie was saying, we used to pump that music in during practice. So that whole week, during our practice, they pumped it in like the entire, as loud at DKR, as loud as it possibly could be. But to see it live and in person and to look as though the stadium's going to fall over, to the point you made earlier, Stevie, it's certainly one of the more impressive things in college football for sure.
Yeah, you call it impressive. I call it weird.
You guys from Louisiana, y'all call them the goobs.
Exactly. No, man, it is okay. I'm going to say this, and we can burn this tape, but it is impressive, but also weird. But man, it's fun, man, to be in that environment, y'all. Y'all don't understand how pumped up I am about this, man, and it's just going to be fun. I don't want to go to the game. I don't want to go to my first game back at A&M, so I'm going to wait till next year when they're at home. So, but it's all in good fun, but it's weird, y'all. Come on.
I will say this, as a fan of college football and having gone to quite a few games at Kyle Field and seen them here as well, when they would march the night before to the Capitol or the day, or I don't know when they do it. I think it's the night before. You got to respect the tradition that they have maintained over so many years. It is very unique, and I'll be nice about it myself. It's different. You've got to you have to want to invest in the Aggie tradition to appreciate it. And I guess if you're an Aggie, hey, much respect for that, because you guys, it is different.
It's different,
and they are loyal, And Aggies do support Aggies. You see that everywhere you go. They are different.
Yeah, it is.
To end the conversation and debate on this great week, Lance, your final thoughts on this game, maybe how you think it'll play out. How do you think – what's the key for Texas, you think?
Yeah, so obviously hearing that Q might be a little banged up, so that's going to be interesting to see how that plays. I think he had an MRI today from reports. So don't know how that's going to look once we get to game time, right? I think we have one of the best backup quarterbacks in the country. I think in any game we show up to, we have the two best quarterbacks in the building. So we're really fortunate to have that piece. So I think Arts is definitely ready to step in if he's needed for sure. It's going to be a tough battle. The thing I like is our defense is absolutely fantastic. So we're going to be in every game and have a chance to win. It's going to go back and forth. But I got 24-17 Texas is what I think it's going to be. It's going to be close. It's going to be tight. But I think we'll make enough plays to win and then hopefully get a shot to avenge our only loss of the season.
Yes, Georgia and Atlanta. Stevie, your thoughts, both of us, I think all three of us, I think our thoughts will change throughout the season. I mean, the week. Stevie, right now, what are you leaning toward? What's the key for Texas? And what other elements of the game do you think will be a factor?
I think the main factor of this game is our defense coming out on fire. I agree with Todd Hunt. The defense has to come out on fire. Our offense got to find their rhythm and probably get more balanced run pass. And when we do run, hold on to the ball. We had a couple of fumbling issues. So hold on to the ball and run the clock out. That's what we need to do, like sound fundamental football. No one doing anything great, but everyone doing their job. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what needs to happen in any rivalry game because to keep them from making plays, do your job. That's all you need to do is do your job and everybody be fundamentally sound. I think that's the keys for us winning the game. I don't have a prediction on score. I want it to be, a low score, but we hold on to the ball. We dominate the time of possession is what I want to see. Throw the ball when we need to or when we want to, but run the ball every single other down. Run the ball right down their throat. Let these big guys make their money,
Yeah.
Keep pounding and pounding the ball. I love 3 yards in a cloud of dust. You know what I mean? So just keep doing that. That means we're holding on to the ball longer and longer and longer, and then exclamation point touchdown at the end. That's my game plan against them.
I love hearing that from you guys because you guys played in it multiple times, and I'll add to this just from observations in this game. Number one, I don't think Sark has come remotely close to emptying his playbook. I think it happens this Saturday in College Station. And if Texas wins the turnover battle on the plus side, I see Texas winning 6 to 9 points. But A&M's going to throw some things at Texas too. I'm almost positive of that. We've seen it. We in this game. It's from special teams to everything imaginable. It's like OU over again.
Yeah, I appreciate. Are we wrapping up now?
We're about to.
We're about to wrap up because I got to get some of this peach cobbler that my mama made.
Oh,
you guys hurry up and wrap this thing up.
Well, we'll do
ice cream.
Well, we're gonna save our TikToking in the man cave of the week for next week, and this is how we're gonna close things up right here.
Hey Ben, tell me something good.
Lance Gunn, all three of us know that there's much more positive things going on in this world than negative. You can't believe everything you see on Twitter, X, Facebook, all of it. You'd think we live in a place that nothing's good. But tell me something good, my brother.
No, it's Thanksgiving week, right? So going to get a chance to spend time with family and friends that you don't get a chance to see very often. So that's always something good for sure.
Stevie, I think we saw what something good is in that bowl.
Man, Lance, I'm gonna piggyback off you, man. Something good, man. It's Thanksgiving week. Just pour into your family, man. I had a couple of tragedies this year that some family members aren't here. So pour into the family that you have here, because you never know when it may be your last time seeing them. So shout out to all the people out there that's dealing with loss this holiday season as well. So because I'm dealing with it a little bit right now. You know, it's a fun time with family, but sometimes it can be tough for some. So just keep them in your thoughts and your prayers. But enjoy each other, man. This is something good, y'all. And we got the game back, y'all. We got the game back. Since 2011, those dudes have been spitting fire because we whooped their tail on their turf with a field goal and ran out on their field and celebrated in the middle of Aggie Field. They're, you know how we said that we used to pipe their fight song, we used to pipe their hymn, and they're piping on their screens us winning that game, kicking a field goal on their field to win. That's the last taste they have of the Longhorns, and they are mad about it. You can tell they're mad about it because they overlooked Auburn last night to try to beat us. You know what I mean? So what we got to do is make sure that we go out there and beat them twice. You know, because we beat them Auburn didn't beat them last night. The University of Texas beat Texas A&M last night.
Wow, that's quite a statement. That's quite a statement. I love that.
No question. No question. The University of Texas beat Auburn or beat A&M last night. So we got to actually go out there and beat them again.
Man, that is well done. I'll wrap it up shortly with a short tell me something good. What Lance said. Send some gratitude out to all your people in your circle and help those, because there is so many people struggling and you never know it because they keep plowing through life. Be positive, be grateful for things, because there's so many people that just can't see the positive side of life. Lift them up, lift everyone up. Be grateful for the family and friends you have. And I am grateful to have these two in my life and to join me on this little passion play here of stories inside the man cave. So Lance, man, I appreciate you. Oh, you're always willing to do this.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate the time, fellas. Good to see both of you. Have a great Thanksgiving with your families.
Man, happy Thanksgiving to you both, and to the great city of Shreveport, Louisiana, which is the birthplace of Stevie Lee and the home of Hargrove Roofing, and to my college alma mater town, the great Nacogdoches, Texas, and my hometown, Austin. And for Lance Gunn and his family, and Stevie Lee and his beautiful family, and to the OG Man Cave boys, that being Hardball Hards, Big Mike, and the Coach Mo. What do we tell them, Stevie Lee?
We out.
You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up.
I said get out.